Good people. We in the building for another week. It's Eagles Elite Podcast. It's your boy Cool McCain. I'm joined by the Eagles Diva. Y'all know what it is. We got a docket of things that we plan out to talk about. But have no fear, my fellow Eagles fans. Cameron Jarrell Newton got a few words for you that's going to be in here too. We're going to address the tomfoolery and Uncle Tomden of one Cameron Jarrell Newton on the show as well. We've got, of course, news and updates. We'll talk about a lot of things happening with that. Season review for the Rams and the Ravens games. Training camp news and notes. Got a question we're going to pose. And then we're going to give you the updated information for NFL Top 100, the newest reveals. And someone accurately predicted what's going down. We finally got an Eagle on the board. So we'll get into all that. But before we do any of that, there's one place that we got to go. It's one thing we got to do. We got to get just a little extra bit of that juice, a little extra hype, a little extra. Just je ne sais quoi. And here it is.
The kick is away, and the kick is, it's gone! And the Eagles win!
It's hard to come to South Philadelphia and leave here with the win. You just don't come to Philadelphia and leave here with the win.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin!
All right, good people. In the building, another week. Eagles Elite Podcast. Y'all know how we get down. Y'all know what it is. So, Eagles news. Diva, I know you like myself, kind of been following what's going on with the team. Any bits of news that you would like to slide out there for the people?
Yeah, so we did sign 2 defensive ends. I can't say old boy name. We're gonna say and I think he came from the Browns, maybe. And then we signed defensive tackle Jacoby Sykes, and he is from Seattle Seahawks. We also waived defensive end KJ Henry and running back Lou Nichols.
And one of those dudes that played in the UFL this past year too.
I think it might be Oniko. Whoa. Yeah, how you say it? I think he don't want to play the UFL. Yeah.
Anything else?
That's all that I see so far. Oh, I know. Well, that's all that I see. I know we'll talk about training camp. But in the sad news, we did lose a dear Eagles fan. Malcolm Jamal Warner was a huge Eagles fan. We did lose him the other day. Some of y'all who are probably about me and Cool's age, I don't know if y'all remember City High, but one of their members passed away, and he was also a huge Eagles fan. So we lost 2 Eagles fans within a week.
Tough. Definitely was a tough week. So one bit of negative, well, I won't say negative. It's going too far. One bit of tough news, we'll say. We'll go that route. Nakobe Dean will be starting camp on the PUP list, which means he won't play for at least, I believe the PUP is 6 games. So still recovering, from his injury. Kind of expected, but just, the only person, though, that is on the unable to perform list and wasn't able to, be part of practice. Some guys were injured a little bit, and different things, but they were able to be part of practice. So got that. And also, boy, there's a lot of rumors. We're gonna find out they're true here soon, but we may be getting the white throwbacks as well. So if that's true, we're gonna get the white throwbacks. And if we're gonna get the white throwbacks, last year we were undefeated in the throwbacks. So we're gonna throw the white in there too. That should be pretty. That should be a pretty good move for us. There's some other pieces of news we could talk about, but what we gonna do? We're gonna cut the news a little short so that we can move on because we got a couple of things we gotta talk about. Right? We got a couple of things we gotta talk about. Got a few people in the building. E Money Bentley in the house. He says, "Go Birds, go Birds." E Money Bentley. What's going on, my boy? And then Little G Griffith letting us know he a big fan of the Eagles season. We better kick the Cowboys' butts. Little G ain't playing. My man let us know every week we better kick the Cowboys' butts. We better kick everybody's butts. But yeah, can't kick everybody's butts if you don't kick the Cowboys' butts. So I feel that. So we're gonna move on here, y'all, just for the sake of getting everything, because a lot of training camp stuff that we're gonna be sliding through and talking about here. So we're gonna move on and kind of get into that. I'm ready for off-season discussions this week.
Yes, sir.
So
a lot of action today.
Diva, talk to us about some of the action from the day. Let the people hear what you got to say. They hear me all the time.
Okay, so a little bit of the training camp notes that I have for today's first day of NFL training camp. Your Philadelphia Eagles was in the building. So the first round pick, Jalen Campbell, was limited participation, but he does avoid the PUP list after having an off-season shoulder surgery. So he did have surgery. Nolan Smith was one of the first players on the field, worked on pass rush moves before practice, and wearing a brace on the left arm from, of course, the torn tricep that he had in the Super Bowl. Our boy Jason Kelsey was in the building today for attendance, and he was hanging out with the new OC that we have. Jalen Carter has a shoulder injury, but he was out there. Well, no, he didn't practice. My bad. O-line Kenyon Green has a knee injury and did not practice. Remind y'all that was the pick that we got, or the replacement we got for CJGJ.
Definitely want no replacement.
That was just a waste of time and money. But anyway, wide receiver Avery Williams practice was start of camp after missing the spring injuries. And I think I did hear AJ Brown speak about Avery and how well he looked out there today. Dijon was starting at safety next to Blankenship
in the base packages.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's where they said was there in the base packages. So
yeah, Vic said that Dijon could get some safety snaps this season. Sidney Brown was starting safety in the nickel. Keely Ringo was starting CB opposed to Quinyon Mitchell. Tyler Steen was, of course, he was starting, of course. And let's see what else. Jeremiah Trier was starting as the linebacker. Running back AJ Dillon got some time with the first rep teams today, which is a good thing. Tanner McKee connected deep with Terrence Marshall. Sorry, actually, that's who AJ Brown was talking about, was Terrence Marshall. He said he looked good today. Keely Ringo was 7-on-7 in coverage. Jalix Hunt sacked Jalen Hurts on 11-on-11, finished last season strong. Of course, he had 1.5 sacks. Jalen Campbell looks really good with his athleticism and looks good in breaking up coverage. He also blitzed Jalen Hurts and forced him to an errant throw, showing that he is versatile on the defense. So that is very good signs. We talked about last week how we're hoping that his versatility and that his play that he had in college will go ahead and come on over to the NFL like Quinyon and Dijon did. We also had Ben Van Summeren got some fullback, some running back carry today with the third team. And then, of course, on fourth down drill, Jalen Hurts completed a 20-yard throw down the sideline to A.J. Brown, which Keely Ringo was in coverage and got burnt.
And you know what's funny about that? we did the excuse me. So what's funny about that is I watched the press conference, so they was talking about it. And apparently Keely played perfect coverage, but the throw was so precise, and the beast that A.J. Brown is, he still made the catch and made him look burnt.
Well, they said he got beat twice deep. Keely Ringo was beaten deep twice today. So
no, he was saying like both times it's not that he played bad defense, it's just that the offense was so good. But here's the thing: if you're gonna play on that side, that's gonna be all year.
Facts, and you got to go against big players like AJ because AJ's not little.
And you got to go against.
You know what I'm saying?
Basically, he's going to be playing on the side where most number ones line up. So you're going to be going against everybody's number one. So if AJ's doing this to you, and I mean, it's still early in camp. I feel like in camp, it always takes guys that are newer in their positions a little bit longer to kind of get up to speed. So I'm not necessarily worried about it, but it is of interest that them boys already humming to an extent.
I did catch a glimpse of AJ catching a one-hander, and Queon had his hand like that.
But yeah,
knocking the ball out.
That was interesting. The fact that Keely played pretty good defense. Yeah, Keely did his thing. So Diva was giving us some of the info from training camp. I'm gonna talk about the press conferences. So had a press conference. They talked to Jordan Mailata. This is the one I saw. A couple of the other linemen as well. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown. So some of those guys were there. So of course, Mailata and Hurts are two of the captains on the team, and they basically had the same message. Mailata used a little bit of foul language, but
a lot of foul language.
The main thought, a lot of foul language. The main thought was essentially. Last year was last year. That's great. That's cute. Glad it happened. But we need to focus on this year. And I love to hear him say that because the Super Bowl hangover is real. So for the captains already saying, like, look, last year was cool. I'm glad we did what we did. Blase, blase, blase. That's cool. But now it's time to get to this year. And the fact that we own that makes me feel real good. That makes me feel like we understand what's happening. Also, in listening to Nick Sirianni and Howie's press conference, you kind of got the same thing, right? You got the focus. We're trying to make sure that this team is ready to play. We're trying to make sure that we're not so focused on last year that we're not getting it done for this year. Because last year was great, it was cute, it was cool, but we need to get this year done. And that's where the focus is at. And that's what's important. That's what's different. That's what's unique about this year. Also, Lane Johnson was talking about, just the other linemen, about how long he's been playing, the 2 Super Bowls, different stuff like that. How this year feels a lot different from last time as far as the focus after the win, because now it's like, okay, we won. That's cool. That's great. We got our rings. It's time to let that go. We're not even talking about that no more. Now we're moving on to next year. Now we're moving on to trying to repeat. They don't even really want to be known as the reigning champions. And I actually liked what they were saying when they said that. This was my Mailata thing. You're saying we don't even really want to be known as the champions. It Hurts alluded to it as well because that was last year. And we don't want to get caught up into the last year and not focus on this year. Because their thing is we need to be focusing on this year. Anything that happened last year, that's over once this banner goes up. So once this game against Dallas happens and that banner goes up and all that, that's it. We don't want to talk about last year no more. We want to talk about what's going to be happening this year. Now, they may want to do that, and I respect them for that. I'm going to be right for this all year. I'm milking it for everything that is worth. Because, like I said, I've said it several times. There was a time that I believe as an Eagles fan, I was never going to see my team win a championship, but I wasn't going to stop riding for them. You know why? You ride or die. You bird game for life, win or lose. But now we winning. So all the times we had to hear all the stuff from everybody else about what we didn't do and all that. Now I'm gonna help y'all remember all season that we're champs. My gift to all the non-Eagles fans, and just a little reminder of one thing that I feel all of us Eagles fans can agree on. We may not agree on this or that with different stuff and all that, but what we can agree on is that we are the champions. AJ talked about how he didn't even eat. He said he came to the ceremony just to get his ring. They all love the wings. It's a focus thing. This team is prepared to try to go back to back. They're not fat and happy. You know how some teams win and then it's like, oh, we won. That's great. We got us a championship, and that's it. And it happens a lot of times to a lot of teams, and that's why you don't have as many teams, go back to back or win multiple Super Bowls in a 5-10 year span. It's something you have to focus and work toward. It has to be something that you're telling yourself, we're pushing for this every day. That's what Howie, that's what Nick, that's what Jalen, that's what Jordan, all the other captains, Lane, all the captains and veteran guys are doing. And a lot of them were talking about Jordan Mailata, if you didn't see his part of the interview, it was really good because he was talking about how, he came in basically the year after we won the last Super Bowl. So he wasn't here for the Super Bowl. So he was kind of seeing everything that happened, soaking in, wishing that, he had a chance to be part of the team, but obviously wasn't. Took him a couple of years to get there, but he learned to listen. And now a lot of the guys that were there at that point, they're no longer here, which means Jordan Mailata, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, those guys have to be the leaders. And how they have a lot of guys that are starting to step up and be leaders on the team. And how it's their job now to impart the wisdom in the young guys so that when their time is over, they're the veterans. They can impart it to the next generation of Eagles players. I will say Nick Sirianni deserves a lot of credit for his development as an interviewer, as an interviewee. He's doing a much better job of responding to questions and not just giving us cliches, but actually answering questions for us and making it feel like, all right, he's bought in. He's attempting to help the team be better. And he just knows what's going on. He's not just saying stuff to be saying it. So shout out to Nick for that, because that's an improvement. And, people think, oh, he can't. He just don't like Nick Sirianni. It's not that. I don't like a lot of the choices and situations and different things that he's done. But at the end of the day, he's still our coach. He's going to be our coach. So the goal is for him to adapt and be the best version of Nick Sirianni for the Eagles. Not hating on our own coach, but I need to see him do better consistently. This is a start. You got to start somewhere. But we need to keep it up, Mr. Sirianni. And I won't call you tight pants. I'm going to try to give you a little bit of respect this year. You did win the Super Bowl. So you are, I wouldn't say the best coach in team history, but you have to be included in that conversation because there's only 2 coaches that won Super Bowls and then only 3 other teams have won championships back in the day. So got to put you in that conversation. But what you have to do for us, we need more last year. We need you. Step back. Let your coordinators do their thing, and let's keep winning. So, hopefully that continues to happen. And I think everybody will be good. But yeah, press conferences were very uplifting. They were very much focused on it's time to get it. We're not thinking about the past no more. They want to move on from that, and they want to, focus on now. A lot of the guys have said before or said then, winning was great, but you can't dwell on that. You got to dwell on trying to get back there.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
that's the goal of the
I
Philadelphia
mean,
Eagles. We got to get back. Being couldn't get back. So let's do it.
yeah, I mean, I like, Jordan
What were you
Maillet, so
saying,
we ain't
Diego?
defending ish. We're not defending anything. We're the world champs. We won it. Let's move forward. Jalen Hurts is not even wearing his ring. Put that mug in a closet. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, all the haters that keep talking. Because that boy really takes all of that negative energy and he turns it into greatness. And that's what I love about him. You got to think about when we went to the Super Bowl and all they kept saying was how he lost to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Like, as he's walking by, he's looking at this on the TV. He's like, bad. And my boy went out there and played one of the best games. You know what I'm saying? And so keep talking. Like, you ain't doing nothing but making him better and better. You know what I'm saying? On top of, him getting that wisdom from Jordan, one of the best players in sports history, basically. You know what I'm saying? So keep talking. You want to keep talking, keep talking. Like, it ain't doing nothing but making him a better quarterback. And, the longer that he's in the league, the more seasoned he will be. And Jalen Hurts will be talked about for years to come. Point blank, period.
Could have said it better myself.
Yeah. And then Lane Johnson was talking about like how it's weird that,
Better
all
myself.
the play, like he's the
Good
only
time.
long lasting player, and that BG is not there, and BG's not there to talk his mess, and Kelsey's not there, which he was in the building today. But just it is weird that all the people that you won the first Super Bowl with, they're retired. Fletch, he was like, I see him living their life. He was like, but you know what? He was like, I feel good. He was like, I'm at my best right now in my 30s. Like, I feel really good. And so I think Lane Johnson is on his way to be in the Hall of Fame. Once he finally hangs it up, but hopefully we'll have Lane for a few more years because Lane has been pivotal for us.
Yeah, he definitely has. Since we were talking about haters, I think this is as great a time as any to address one Cameron Jarrell Newton. I'm not going to give you a lot of time, but I'm going to say this. As a quarterback that was deemed a running quarterback, right? A multifaceted quarterback, so to speak. Quarterback, a dual threat. As someone who was deemed that early on in their career, I would expect, not saying that you're supposed to kiss anybody's hind quarters or anything like that, but I expect you to support, show love to other guys who are kind of doing things. But then I realized something about Cam Newton. Cam Newton had one chance to win, and he wouldn't even jump on the ball. Cam Newton want to talk about all the weapons that Jalen Hurts got. Well, Cam, maybe if you threw the ball a little bit better. And I live in Charlotte, so this is from the Charlotte sports fans, the Charlotte sports media, and people that were in that facility with Cam Newton. If Cam Newton had been a better thrower of the ball, if he had worked on developing himself and becoming a better thrower, more accurate thrower, a guy that can lay that ball in there like Mr. Hurts can, perhaps some of those guys that you want to talk about that weren't very good weapons would have been better weapons. And let's not forget, early on in your career, you did have one Steve Smith. And the way you acted ran him away.
Be honest. Cam had some good wide receivers. You even had Christian McCaffrey, one of the good running backs. But you had Greg Olsen, you had Ted Ginn Jr., you had Steven Smith, you had Calvin Benjamin, you had Devin Funches, you had Brandon LaFell, and you had DJ Moore.
So there were weapons. He tries to make it seem like he did it with a bunch of third string and scrubs. And, not that some of those guys were the best ever, but had they had a quarterback who spent more time honing and perfecting his craft, perhaps instead of standing on the outside and hating on Jalen Hurts, you could be talking about a ring you had and maybe another showing in the playoffs in the Super Bowl. So my thing for you, Cam, is you can judge that, man, because it doesn't matter how good your wide receivers are. If you can't give them the ball, they look like the wide receivers that you had. You made a lot of those guys careers in early, or them not get other opportunities because of your play at
Junior, one of them.
Yeah.
Boy was a beast.
You think about Cam. You go back and you look at Cam. You watch film on Cam. Not that he was a terrible thrower of the ball, but accuracy was an issue at times. Balls had a little bit extra air. Placement wasn't always the greatest. These are things that a quarterback can fix if they take the time and they work and they've done it. And honestly, Jalen Hurts has put in that work. So I'm not going to sit here doing a whole long rant defending Jalen Hurts. I'm just going to say, bro, instead of trying to hate on Jalen Hurts for the talent that's around him, that's there because Jalen Hurts said, I'll take less so that we can keep the core together, which I don't believe you ever did either. Be honest. He's a good quarterback. Yeah, he does have weapons, but he still has to deliver the ball to those weapons. They don't just throw and catch the ball themselves. So your constant hate on Hurts is a joke. But like Diva said earlier, it's all good because all you're doing is adding more fuel to the fire. I'd rather have you hating than you out there kissing his hind parts. Hey, do what you do, bro. But just realize, just like Robert Griffin III, you're not making yourself look better. You're making yourself look worse.
You know what I really think it is? I think that Cam is mad that he did not have the mentality that Jalen has. Because Jalen doesn't let chatter get to him. If you notice, Cam, something didn't go his way, that boy was on the sideline pouting with a towel over his head. Like, he didn't have the mental capacity to really play football. Like, he just didn't have that mental stability and toughness to say, okay, well, let me go back out here and get it right. Jalen.
All right, looks like we got Diva got stuck there in the metaverse for a second. So that'll happen, live. It is what it is. But the big thing for me, if you openly and honestly evaluate talent, I'm cool with it. Right? I get it. You don't have to say he's the greatest player. You don't have to say he's the top quarterback. But you have to give the man props and respect for what he's done. He was in 2 Super Bowls. In both of those, the consensus is he was the best player. He was definitely the best quarterback in both of those games. So my thing is, if your quarterback is stepping up in the big stages, which you did not do, Cam, then you got to give him some props, right? You want to say, okay, he's got a good running game. He's behind a good line. That could add to it. Absolutely. Joe Montana played behind a good line. Tom Brady played behind a good line, right? When he was winning, Patrick Mahomes not behind a good line. Dan Marino played behind a good line. Terry Bradshaw played behind a good line. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's like you want to sit there and single out certain people and say this person had this help, but you're not overall arcing saying this is something that was honestly everybody. Everybody had help. Everybody had people that were there to help them. They did. And there's nothing wrong with having help. You can't win Super Bowls. You can't be a great player in any sport by yourself unless it is tennis or golf. Any team sport, you have to have the help of your team. And you're trying to punish him. You're trying to move the goalpost differently for him than a lot of the greats that I mentioned and other greats. Did Drew Brees win with a pedestrian team? No, he did not. Did Troy Aikman win with a pedestrian team? He did not. Joe Montana? No. Steve Young? No. This is everybody. All right, Diva, glad you're back. You can go ahead and finish what you were saying. I know you got lost in the metaverse there. Can't hear you. All right, well, Diva come back. We'll let her finish what she was saying. But in the meantime, while she's getting that straightened out, we're going to go ahead and take a quick... Well, Diva, you good? Still can't hear you. We'll go ahead and take a quick commercial break. And then once we get back, we'll get Diva's comments, give her a second to try to get everything straight on her side. And after that, we'll hop into the first game summary from last year, game against the Rams. And then we'll come back and finish the offseason discussions, and then we'll get into the second one. So we're going to take us a quick commercial break, and then we will be back to make things happen.
Rams fans all around the world.
It's a beautiful thing to be a Rams fan right now. Stafford's back. We will see about Cup. And running back Kerryon Williams to a return.
Lend me your ears, or should I say lend Playmaker your ears, as he breaks down week by week everything in the Los Angeles Rams canon.
Number 99, Aaron Donald. Can't wait for 2029 to come to know that you are going in the Hall of Fame, and it should be first ballot, no questions asked.
Join the Playmaker as he breaks down everything Los Angeles Rams style in Ramily Talk on the Playmakers Blog Network YouTube channel and where you can find podcasts. Cool McCain.
You thought you wanted Gunther against Chad Gable, but you didn't. And I'm going to tell you why. Chad Gable would take everything that Gunther's done and bury it.
The Playmaker.
It was on site. AJ Styles walked out there, seen LA Knight. Oh, okay, nigga. LA Knight hopped out the car. Let's go.
Break down everything in TNA, AEW, and all of the WWE programming. Join these two kings, monarchs of wrestling, live every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central on the Play Caller Sports Talk YouTube channel.
All right, good people. We back in the building. Diva's still having some issues, so all good. We will keep moving and keep talking about what we got going on here. So we'll slide on over, and we'll do a review of the Rams game. So, interesting matchup. Played the Rams multiple times last season, but we're talking about the first game, one on November 24th. Our 12th game of the season. All right, we got Diva back. All right, Diva, you good now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, can't
Carry on, Diva. Carry on.
Yeah, he was some juju on my computer. You knew I was about to go in. The whole thing shut down. But yeah, I mean, like I was saying, he just didn't have the mental grit to, when a play didn't go his way, to come back in, go out, go on the bench, get it together, and come back in and regroup. Jalen does that. You know what I'm saying? And Jalen looks at film and see what he didn't do right, and then he works on that. Cam Newton just thought he had pure talent and could go out there and, sometimes, I guess, put the game on his back. Sometimes you can do that as a quarterback. But a lot of times you can't. It involves your whole team, and then it involves you to have the mental grit and toughness to be able to get your other teammates involved. And Cam didn't have that. And so I think that honestly, I think he envies Jalen because of that. I really do.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's a good point. The mental grit was definitely like the strong suit of one Cam Newton. And like I say, man, I ain't gonna sit there and dog you. I'm gonna tell the truth though. The truth is, you didn't win when you had the opportunity. And there's got to be a part of you that's jealous that someone else is getting those opportunities that you didn't get. And it's cool. But understand that all the stuff that you say, all the stuff that you put out there, everybody has access to, right? We all saw you play. We know what it was. And you know, Cam, do you, bruh? Just remember, credibility is important. And you losing some. A lot of other people are too. A lot of hate going on for Hurts that I don't feel he deserves. Like I say, man, I'm not the person that says you got to put him in your top 2 quarterbacks, but to not put this man in the top 5 going into this season, you got guys like Jaden Daniels who's had 1 year. We know that the sophomore slump is a thing. We saw it happen to almost all the quarterbacks. But we don't think it's going to happen to Jaden Daniels after everybody has a year of film on him and off-season to prepare for the way he plays and his mannerisms, things he likes, and all those things. It's going to be more difficult for him. But you're going to put him above Hurts after 1 year? I even saw someone that said Lamar Jackson and Jaden Daniels are better versions of Jalen Hurts. And, you know, I laughed and I saw it 3 or 4 places. I laughed and I saw it because I said, they're really not even the same quarterback. Lamar is more of a runner than Hurts will ever be. Daniels is more of a runner than Hurts will ever be. Hurts can run the ball. Hurts does have design run plays he does run, but he's looking to pass. Neither one of those guys, and you can debate me all you want, have a deep ball like Hurts. If you really look at that man's deep ball, when he get the time and he can set his feet and make the throw, that man got one of the most beautiful deep balls I've ever seen. He put that thing in there. We talk about how good A.J. Brown is, how good Devontae Smith is, and all the other, guys, Saquon Barkley catching the ball and everything. That's because the ball has been delivered to them in places where they can make plays for the most part. And who's delivering the ball? Are they throwing it to themselves? No, it's Jalen Hurts. So y'all can hate on him, but remember, your hate just feeds him. He sees it. He don't respond. He takes it as fuel. See, a lot of cats respond and say something back. He don't even say nothing back. I say this all the time when I do my AAO2 coverage. When you got guys that perform at a high level and they don't even talk, those are the most dangerous people. Those are the guys like Brian Westbrook, not Brian Westbrook. Those are the guys like the Wolverine, Weapon X himself, Brian Dawkins, that turn it on when they get on the field. And turn it on is different for different people. But I just want to remind everybody, hate on the boy all you want to. He winning. And I hope he winning again this year. And I hope y'all still be hating.
I mean, look at the boy face behind me. He look like he's thinking deeply now.
Mm-hmm.
Boy's always a deep thought.
Yeah, always thinking deep. And very serious about what he's trying to do. Mm-hmm. And that's all that's important. It's all good. It's all love. Because even though people,
because he couldn't keep the main thing.
Right. And they said that a lot today in the press conferences too. Keeping the main thing. I love it because it just shows the focus, it shows the togetherness, and it shows the awareness that this team has. And that's not going to stop anytime soon. So we're going to slide over. Eagles-Rams. Eagles won the game 37-20. Diva, would you like to throw your thoughts out there first, or would you like for me to throw mine out first? I'm going to let you make the choice.
You go ahead, because that game was a heart attack, high blood pressure, biting your nails for a minute there.
It was an interesting matchup for sure. We we had a tendency in 2024, even though we had a nice long winning streak, to kind of not pull away like we should. Like for instance, this game, 3 points in the first quarter. We had 10 in the second. They didn't score. But then they scored in the third. We scored 14. They scored 7. We scored 10. They scored 6. But there were opportunities to look and say, man, 2 things went the other way. This game could have been quite different, even though it was a 17-point game. This was a Saquon game for sure. My boy had 26 carries for 255 yards and 2 touchdowns. You know, AJ gonna get off when he get the chance. 6 for 109 the touchdown. Hurts threw 109 to Brown. He only threw 179 altogether. So, I mean, if you want AJ Brown, you didn't really do much in this game. I'll leave all the specific stats. I know Diva Hurts had 12 touches. You know, and the second leading receiver in this game was Saquon. On top of the 255 he had passing, he had another 47 receiving. So that man was responsible, if you do the math, for 300 yards offense in the game. So see, when people come and say like, "Oh, Hurts didn't win games," you know, Saquon did, and they point to a game like this, all you can really say is, "You got a point there. You got a point." It won't every game, but let's just say if you were to call Saquon the Rams killer, you wouldn't be inaccurate. You know, defense, the most points we gave up in the quarter was 7. We did it in 2. We gave up 6 in the fourth, and then none in the second. It wasn't I wouldn't say it was a great matchup for the Eagles, but it was a consistent matchup, and it was you need to win this game. We felt like we were better than them going into this game, and we had to handle business. You can't go out against teams that you feel like you have the advantage against and not win. And another game, Jake Elliott 3 for 3 from field goals. So he made all his field goals. We need that. We didn't have that all, but we did need it and got it then. A lot of guys had tackles. But it's just, you get on the street, things are going in your favor. You got momentum, and you just find a way to win games. And I feel like that was definitely what happened here. Again, 37-20. You feel like it should have been a comfortable win. It was by the end, but there were some concerning moments early on in the game for sure. And, you know, some plays left on the field that won't always cut it, but it did cut it in this game.
I mean, if you look at the total team stats, Eagles versus the Rams, this game really should have been 45-20. We had 24 first downs. They had 23. Passing first downs, we had 10. They had 13. Rushing first downs, we had 12. They had 8. Third down efficiency, we was 9 for 15. They were 0 for 8. Fourth down efficiency, we were 0 for 1. They were 3 and 3. Total plays was 68 for the Eagles. They had 59. Total yards was 481 yards to their 290 yards. Total drives was equal with 10. Yards per play was 7.1 for the Eagles, 4.9 for the Rams. Passing, we were 167. They were 198. As far as rushing, we were 314. They were 92. Attempts at rushing was 45 for us, 18 for them. Penalty red zones or red zone attempts, we were 2 for 5. They were 2 for 4. Penalties was equal with 4 for 4, or 4 out of 52 and 4 out of 38. And 1 turnover for them and 1 fumble loss for them. So if you look at that, like just looking at the team stats, 481 total yards, like that game should have been. The problem with us is we didn't want to score in the beginning. Like we would score a field goal or we would go a whole quarter or two, well, really a whole quarter without scoring, even if we got a field goal. So instead of starting early and going ahead and getting that 7 on the board, you know, we would kind of play around. So, that game was really a nail biter at one point in time. But I do remember Jalen came in and really helped us out at the end by sacking, getting in his face and stopping that play. Because if they would have scored on that play, it would have been a lot closer, and we probably would have been almost close to losing that game like we did with the Atlanta Falcons. So that was a very pivotal moment when Jalen came in and read the play not once but twice, because they tried to run the same play back to back, and Jalen read that and got in his face and stopped that from happening. Um, and then also, I mean, Puka Nakua had a few good catches, but he really didn't get off like he normally does. Cooper Cup was non-existent in that game at all. Like, he wasn't even in the game. You know what I'm saying? He was held down the whole game. Um, but yeah, I think that was another turning point for us to understand that, hey, we gotta tighten up. We gotta do better. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah.
Yeah. The Rams are a team that I would say is a good team, right?
They are.
But I feel like with the weapons and the coordinators and everything that we had last year, it definitely should have been a blowout, more so than 17 points. So there should have been a lot more, I agree. But at the end of the day, the one thing I always say, you take the wins how you can get them. If you can get 30, 40-point wins, cool. If you can get 5-point wins, cool. Because at the end of the day, you're just trying to win. And that's what's important. Back in the building again, Steve McCain. Hey, fam, what's up, brother?
What up, brother? We're all in the building tonight, the whole fam.
Not everybody, but some of us, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it's important to get out there and play games. It's important to win. It's important to learn. And I think we had a lot of wins last year they're wins, but
could have been better.
You won the game, but it wasn't you won the game and it was you won the game, but. And the media fed into that a lot. But that also kept us going because we had to hear that. And I mean, the team. I say we like we was doing it, but the team.
Yeah.
Brother
I mean,
says,
as far as the stats go, Jalen had 179. Matthew Stafford had 243. Jalen was 15 for 22. Matthew Stafford was 24 for 36. Saquon had a whopping 255 yards, 26 carries, 2 touchdowns. Kyron Williams had 16, 72 yards, 1 touchdown. I do believe he fumbled. AJ only had 6 for 109 yards. Puka Nakua had 9 for 117 yards. Dallas Goedert had 19 yards. Jahan Dotson had 4. I think Kobe Nadine actually got the fumble from Williams when he fumbled. CJ had 5 tackles. Quinyon had 5. Kobe Dean had 8. Coop had 6. Isaiah Rogers had 4. Blankenship had 3. Oh, No Play Slay had 3. Zach Bond had 3. Milton Williams had 2. Brandon Graham had 2. Josh Sweat had 2. Warren Burks had 2. Ajomo had 2. And Trotter Jr. had 2. Avante Maggs' old self had 1. Sidney Brown actually had 1. Jalen Carter 1. So, I mean, we played a good game. Just could have been better.
Yeah. That's the important thing. The game could have been better. But at the same time, like you said, it still was a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Because we won.
Everybody thought we was going to lose to the Rams. Oh, y'all going to lose.
Yeah, that was a common theme. It was a common theme. Everybody thought that we were going to constantly lose games. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you thinking we're going to lose games. What's wrong is if we were to lose all the games you thought we were going to lose. That would have been the problem.
Right.
So we're going to pop back over and we're going to talk about our top 100 list. We're going to pick up where we left out last week. And we finally have an Eagle player making an appearance on the top 25. I mean, the top 100. And the best part about it is he won't be the last one for sure. So let's get back to that. So back in our top 100, we left off at 75 last week because what happened is because we do things on the half weeks. Right. They don't put up the full list until later on the week after the show. So
Right.
we only had up until 76 or 75 last week. So we're going to go back and talk about the rest of those, and then we'll slide into what we've had put out for this week so far. So I believe it was 75. Yeah.
75.
So at 75, Patrick Queen. Yeah. Steelers linebacker now. He was with Baltimore, but now he's with the Steelers. He dropped 11 spots from where he was in 2024. Still in the top 75 players within the top 100. Had 100 plus tackles, 5 plus tackles for loss, and 5 plus pass defense in each of the last 3 seasons. He's one of only 3 players to do that, along with Levante David and Foyesade Olukan. Foyesade Olukan is the other one. So only 3 guys have done that. So definitely deserving. 74, Bobby Wagner, middle linebacker, Washington Commanders. He's also down 15 spots. He played in 17 games, 132 tackles, 10 for a loss, 2 sacks, 8 quarterback hits, 4 passes defended, and 1 forced fumble. I think he definitely helped out in Washington, what he did off the field as much as what he did on the field. Just because he brought that lead, could play and be an example. He's had 100 tackles in all his 13 seasons in the NFL. The only player that's had more 100 tackle seasons all time is tied with Ray Lewis and then London Fletcher. And this is since 1994. So that's crazy. This is a dude that Bobby Wagner, he does what he does. And there's no shade in that. Which it wasn't with the Commanders because they're in our division. But give props due because it's a team. So he did it great individually. Team didn't really handle us very well last year, though. For Queen, just to give him the stats, he played all 17 games, 129 tackles, 6 for loss, 5 quarterback hits. Quarterback hurries, 1 sack, 7 passes defended, 2 forced fumbles. So, 2 defensive players there. But what's even crazier than the 70 spot drop is they played in 4 games and still made it on the list. Christian McCaffrey, San Francisco 49ers running back. 3 last year, 73 this year. Played in 4 games, 50 rushing attempts, 202 rushing yards, 4 yards per carry, 15 receptions, 146 receiving yards, and a fumble. Name and what you've done in the past. Right? Him even being on the list with 4 games played and 50 attempts. And that's no knock to Christian McCaffrey because if he's healthy, you've seen what he can do, but he wasn't healthy last year. And we don't know yet if he's going to be healthy this year. But the players and GMs have spoken. He made it. 72, Sam Darnold. Let me read you his stats. Nobody saw this coming except for Sam Darnold and maybe his agent and his wife and his mama. Sam Darnold played all 17 games, started for the Vikings last year. He's now with the Seahawks. He wasn't ranked last year. Now he's 72. He had 66.2 completion percentage, threw for 4,319 yards, 7.9 yards per attempt, 35 passing touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 212 rushing yards, and 8 fumbles. Nobody saw that coming from Sam Darnold. I'm not mad at him, though, because congratulations to him. He got his money. 3 years, $100 million with the Seahawks. But yeah, off the year he had last year, you got to give him some love. Got to give him some love. Kirby Joseph from the Detroit Lions. He played all 17 games. He wasn't ranked last year, so 17 games, 58 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 12 passes defended, 9 interceptions, 1 quarterback hurry, and 1 touchdown. He led the league, by the way, with those 9 interceptions. Did a lot for Lions. The Lions had a defense that had a lot of guys that were hurt. So being there and being consistent was important for them because, like I said, they were struggling. Just keeping guys healthy and keeping guys, on the field. So shout out to those gentlemen. Any thoughts on those gentlemen, Diva?
No, I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm surprised with Sam Darnold. I just think that Sam Darnold need to be with the right team, and the Vikings was the team for us to see who Sam Darnold was. I mean, he was with the Panthers. I can't remember who he was with after that, but he just didn't flourish until he got there. So I mean, he deserved it. I mean, that too. So he deserved it. But yeah, I mean, the rest I can see that.
So number 70, we got Frankie Louvu, another linebacker from the Commanders. 17 games, so played 17 games, 99 tackles, 12 for loss, 8 sacks, 14 QB hurries, 7 passes defended, and a forced fumble. He fit perfectly in Dan Quinn's defense, which is very important. Mm-hmm. He was the only player to record 200 snaps rushing the passer and in run defense and in coverage. 213 rushing the passer, 450 in defense, 342 in coverage. He had 27% pressure to sack conversion rate, which was the second highest in the NFL as well. So a lot of interesting things Louvu did, and I would say he definitely was a reason that the Commanders were as good as they were last year. And now, the first Philadelphia Eagle in the top 100. Number 69, offensive tackle Jordan Mailata. 12 games, 802 snaps, 14 quarterback pressures allowed, 1 sack allowed. This man's a monster. Helped Saquon a lot, blocking, obviously protected Jalen. This is his first time making the top 100. Of course, he wasn't ranked last year. Obviously, if this is his first time making it, the man had a monster year.
Mm-hmm.
He allowed 1.5 sacks all of 2024, which was the fewest among all left tackles. I mean, I figured it was going to be Mailata or Johnson. Said it was going to be a lineman first. Happy for Mailata because he's starting to get the props he's probably deserved for a couple of years. But with Kelsey moving on and other leaders emerging and other guys being looked at a little bit more, you're starting to see some of those guys get love. And not a knock on Kelsey at all because Kelsey was that dude. But you're seeing these guys be able to get a little bit more, exposure, a little bit more of their personality. and what they're bringing to the team. So I'm gonna stop right there because that's our player. Any thoughts on Frankie Louvu and Jordan Mailata?
Big ups to Jordan Mailata. We got to remember this guy didn't know anything about American football at all when he came in the league. He only been in here since 2018. And just the way that he has transformed into a lineman that we have needed. When he was hurt with the hamstring injury last season, we felt that. We was like, dang, I can't wait to Jordan come back in. I can't wait. So that just goes to show you how valuable Jordan Mailata is to the Eagles and to that O line. And like he said, I mean, he's been able to shine more since Kelsey is not there. I mean, Kelsey was a beast, but I think that Kelsey has helped a lot of these linemen be able to flourish, and then with him not being there, they're able to flourish even more. So big ups to Jordan Mailata finally making the top 100.
I feel it. All right, Jordan Love, 68, down 34 spots from last year. 15 games, 63.1 completion percent, 3,389 yards, 8 yards per attempt, 25 passing touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 83 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown, 4 fumbles. Had a little bit of a decrease in production.
He was also injured a lot last year too.
Well, he has a little bit of definitely a knee injury. He's going into his 5th year now. He looks like he might be their long-term answer at quarterback, but that doesn't mean that you got 32 quarterbacks. I'm gonna stop right there with that. He throws past the sticks a lot. Threw past the sticks roughly about 60% of the time on third down passes. That's important. And the reason that's important is if you're a guy that's throwing behind the sticks a lot, then you're forcing your receivers, running back, whoever's catching the ball, tight end, to have to make a play to get the first. If you're throwing past the sticks, then that means you're giving them a chance. You just make the play. You just catch the ball and we'll get where we need to go. So definitely some good traits from Jordan Love, but I do think he gets a lot more, pun intended, love than some of the other quarterbacks, and that hurts. All right, number 67, not rated last year either, Malik Neighbors, Giants wide receiver. This dude deserved to be there because this dude was double and triple covered, and he still had over 1,200 yards last year. 15 games, 109 receptions, 1,204 receiving yards, 11 yards per reception, 7 touchdowns, 2 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown. This dude is a star. Definitely a bright spot for that tough Giants team. It's one of those where it's like he's a good player, but it helps that he's in the specific situation that he's in. But hey, when you're on a team where a lot of attention is being paid to you and you're still making it happen, just doing something. He was targeted on almost 37% of his routes, facing single high safety coverage last year. Meaning they were looking when he had single coverage high safety, they were looking for him. And everybody knew that was happening. And he still had a solid year. I think he'll get better. I don't know if Russell Wilson, who's the purported starter, Mr. Russell Wilson himself, is going to be a guy to help him get better. But giving him props for last year. Got to do that because why not? He did what he had to do. At number 66, down 41 spots, Jalen Ramsey. Formerly of the Miami Dolphins, now the Pittsburgh Steelers. 17 games, 60 tackles, 6 for loss, 1 sack, 4 QB hurries, 11 passes defended, 2 interceptions. I wouldn't say he locked up a lot of number 1 receivers. He did guard a lot of number 1 receivers, and I guess you could say locked up. He had decent days against him. They didn't dog him like that. He's going from the Dolphins to the Steelers. Interested to see what he's going to do. He only allowed 51% passer rating in 2024 and man coverage snaps. So still has a lot that he can give, but not the guy that he once was. Any thoughts on the rest of those, Diva?
Not really.
Okay. And last one, Trey McBride, 111 receptions, 1,146 receiving yards, 10.3 yards per reception, 2 touchdowns. Definitely put himself in the conversation as one of the best tight ends. Shout out to him for that. When you have Marvin Harrison Jr. on there and getting focused, it's easy to do that, but you still got to beat the plays. Every player doesn't. So shout out to Trey McBride for that. He's a guy that should keep ascending the next couple of years. So we should see his name on this list for the next few years. I'll be interested to see if they all are in Arizona or not. But
Good question.
I like what he's doing so far. Like what he's doing.
Good question.
Hey, sometimes I know what I'm doing. So Diva, quick question for you before we finish things out with a quick recap of the Ravens game, which it's not too much that needs to be said about the Ravens game. But before we get there, who is your most important player for 2025 for the Eagles on offense and defense, not named Jalen? On offense, of course, it's Jalen Hurts. On defense, of course, Jalen Carter. So who's your top offense and defensive player, or your most important offensive defensive player, not named Jalen?
On the offense, I'm gonna have to go with AJ Brown.
Okay.
You know, I know AJ was, if you didn't catch his press conference, please go back and look at it. But AJ basically said that he is the best wide receiver, and he's still working. There's a lot more work that he needs to do, and that he's going to do to be better. And he just kept giving all thanks to God about where he's at, and mentally where he's at, and yeah, AJ is a big piece of this offense. You know what I mean, as well as Smitty. You really got to put the both together. You can't say one without the other. So it's really got to be AJ and Smitty. And on the defense, I got to go with my boy JD. Yeah, JD. I think he's really going to be a big impact this year. He's lost weight. I know he's playing for that 5th-year contract to get signed. So I think JD is going to be extremely important in that front line.
Okay. I'm gonna go offense. Saquon Barkley. I don't think he's gonna have the year he had last year, but I think he's still gonna have 1,500 or so yards. The ability to run so many different things with him back there, right? Him and Hurts can run the QB choice play, or whatever we want to call it, where he decides we're going to give him the ball, QB option play. So many things that you can do with having him there. He can catch the ball, runs the ball hard, he'll block, team guy, very humble, loves to celebrate when his teammates are successful as well, and just wants to win. Just happy to be somewhere where he can finally win based on the things he's had to go throughout his career, just being somewhere where he actually can win, and how happy that makes him. So I think he's going to be, for me, the most important player not named Jalen. And there's several ways you can go, but that's the way I'm going to go. Defense, I'm going to cop out a little bit here too. Quinyon Mitchell. Because as I kind of hear what happened yesterday and look at practice and look what happened last year, I think we're going to have Quinyon go to the other side of the field. I think whoever ends up being the other corner is going to have to switch sides with Quinyon, and then we have to put him on that side against other teams' number ones. And we have to see if he's as good against number ones as he is moving around the field a little bit. I think he can be, but we're just going to have to see because we have to be able to stop other teams number one. And to do that, we need to have our best corner on. And if we think Quinon's the best corner, which he already pretty much has his position locked up, then shouldn't he be on that side defending other teams' number ones? So that's why I'm going to choose those two guys for myself. I love your picks too, though, Diva. I love both of those. It's very good picks. All right, y'all. So we're going to finish things up. Talked a little bit about Eagles-Ravens. Would you like to go first, Eagles-Ravens, Diva?
Yeah. That game was an amazing game. Everybody thought that we were going to lose that game. But that game was a defensive game. Coop had an amazing game. Like, Henry was basically a non-factor in that game, thanks to Coop. Of course, Jalen Carter had a good game in that game. I ain't got the stats up, but I specifically remember that one hit on Henry didn't even get out the backfield from Coop. And I think that's when people really realized that Coop was a real deal on that defense, was shutting down Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry's a big dude and he's very hard to shut down. And being able to shut him down, Lamar really didn't have a good game. He really wasn't the Lamar that we're used to seeing. Lamar had one of them Lamar games.
Yeah,
it reminded me of the Browns game.
Yeah.
Where he just disappeared. Yeah, that game was an amazing game. Let me bring up the stats real quick if I can find them. Yeah, so Jalen Hurts was 11 for 19, 118 yards, 1 touchdown. Lamar Jackson was 23 of 36 with 237 yards and 2 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley had 107 yards, 23 carries, 1 touchdown. Jalen Hurts had 9 carries, 29 yards, 1 touchdown. Shipley had 1 carry for 4 yards. A.J. Brown had 66 yards. Goddard had 35. Saquon had 10 receiving yards. So, yeah, I think our receiving core wasn't really even on that game. Zach Bond was 8 for 5, and Kobe Dean was 5 for 5. Cooper DeJean was 5. Tristan McCollum got in there. He had 4. Isaiah Rodgers had 4. Nolan Smith had 3. Josh Sweat had 3. Jalen Carter had 3. Reed Blankenship had 3. Jalix Hunt had 1. Orrin Burks had 1. Davis had 1. CJ GJ had 1. Quinyon had 1. Jake Elliott was 1 for 1 on that one. So yeah, like that game, it was close, but it still was a good defensive game. Derrick Henry only had 82 yards, no touchdown. And that's odd for him. And Zay Flowers only had 74 yards. I believe he got hurt too. He only had 74 yards, no touchdowns. Andrews had 67 yards, 1 touchdown. Likely had 38 and 1 touchdown. That was it. That was all.
This was a little bit more of a defensive battle too. Lamar got the better stats. Jalen got the win. Shout out to the defense. This is another one of those games that the defense pretty much did a little bit more than just their part to win. And all I can really say, they outscored us in total yards, 372 to 252. Passing yards, 206 to 112. Rushing yards, 166 to 140. Yards per play, 5.2 to 4.7. So a lot of the statistical categories, Baltimore outdid us. We had 8 penalties for 55. They had 4 for 20. So, a lot of the statistical categories, they did better than us. But you know, the one statistical score that matters the most is the score at the end of the game. We won the game. We got stops when we needed to. We held Baltimore under 20 points. That doesn't happen much. But we also have to understand why we did win that game. It's another word I kept talking about. Wins, but this wasn't Eagles win there, played a good, clean game, and, you know, executed well and came out with the victory. No. It weren't horrible, but we can be much better. But again, like I always say week to week, a win is still a win. A win by 5 is still a win. A win by 3 is still a win. We'll take the win because, as Diva said, a lot of people did not believe the Philadelphia Eagles were going to win this game. Eagles fans and foes alike. But guess what? If you didn't believe in the Eagles, you were wrong. And I'm going to say for myself, this was a game I had circled like we might lose this game just because you ain't going to beat everybody, but we had a great run there in the middle, all those games we won together. This was definitely in the middle of it. And I was very excited for the guys to get the win and, you know, continue their undefeated streak against that division for the season. So, good game by the Eagles because we won. Not the most well-executed game, but I'm good with that because if you play a perfect game, then there's nothing left to really focus toward. So, a lot of these games, we gave ourselves plenty of things to focus toward and plenty of things to work on from week to week. Mm-hmm. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. But we still, at the same time, was getting wins. Like, it's crazy how you can really think about it. We getting wins, and then you in practice getting called out. Better than the other team, but not 1% better every day. Didn't look like that all the time. But at this point, we're 10-2. Philadelphia Eagles getting it done.
Yep, we got it done.
Shout out to the Eagles. Shout out to everybody watching. Make sure you like if you haven't already. Make sure you share if you haven't already.
Subscribe.
Make sure
turn that bell notification on all and not personalized so you know we go live every Wednesday.
Real talk. Anything else you got, Diva?
No, we're officially back. Preseason starts in the next few weeks, so NFL is officially back. Thank you, Lord. And I'm just ready for what is to come of the Philadelphia Eagles season for 2025, going into 2026. And Ole do it. Ole do it. Ole do it.
We didn't change the banner today. We were getting it in. By the way, the Eagles won the championship last year and opened the game. I'm gonna take a note for the team after that. And you're about in the offseason because winners go to sports. Football is back officially, y'all. Training camp's in session. We'll have more for training camp next week. We'll be updating you on the next 5 to 10 players we find out about on the top 100. Hopefully we get some more Eagles. Hopefully they'll be waiting a little bit longer too. It's kind of like both ways. And make sure, always remember, it's never where you start. It's always where you finish. And fly, Eagles, fly. Hashtag be elite.
Hashtag be elite.
We'll be back.
Oh, thank you, bro, for the compliment.
And let's get it.
Let's go.